Right, let's look at santacruz this time. It's another 50 pointer, probably same complexity level as Whitehorse and Montevideo. If you ask me though, it's definitely upping the ante at this point of time. It's definitely harder than either of those two. At this point of time, you need to have your basics like really clear at this point, because from now on it's just going to get harder. And if you're buffer overflow basics, exploitation basics, a little bit of basic reversing, assembly, debugging, all of that isn't down, and you've like somehow hacked your way till this point, or it's just not going to work. So make sure all of that is clear. Go back, read a lot, and then come back here if you're still unclear about those basic concepts. Where does login return to? In other words, where does main resume once login finishes? Make sure you answer that question well. And if you don't know where it returns, are there any registers like in the top here? All of these are the registers, the state of the program. That'll tell you where it exactly returns. So make sure you know that before you go on. So now you go into login at this point of time. And first thing you kind of notice, you always, while reversing program, don't dive straight instruction. Always look at stuff overall, set breakpoints where you think stuff look interesting. And the moment you scroll up, you see this little function here, unlock door. Missed that from the previous ones. And so unlock door is definitely back, and it's at 444A. So you go up there and let's see what's 444A. There you go, locked door. See, this looks very familiar, right? The push 7F and the call in, which is great. So we know that again, in the end, we want to go to unlock door and make the door swing open at that point of time. Santacruz, if you read the stuff carefully, when you read the little blurb that comes up right at the start carefully, you'll see that it requires a username and a password, and that is kind of confirmed here. So if we do that, so it says please enter your username this time. So we do that, and at this point of time we're just testing what it's doing, right? So do that, and we say continue again. So it's your first string copy. What do you think it's kind of doing here? Again, look at the arguments for string copy. It's probably copying the username somewhere into memory. Where? Leave that to you to find out. Go in again, and let's enter the password this time. Send that over. It's another string copy. What's it doing this time? Again, I'll leave it for you to decide. It should be pretty straightforward at this point in time. Then you kind of hit a comparison instruction. CMP basically compares one address, one value with another value. It's comparing R15 to R11. What's stored in R15 and R11? You need to reverse the program carefully to find out what values are actually going into R15 and R11. So the best way to kind of do it is to not like start right here, because you see you need to find out where R15 or R11 came from, or any of those user control. So you kind of got to start backtracking till the point where you hit user input and see if any of your user input actually goes into any of those registers. So you work your way back till the point where you know that there's definitely some kind of user input that's happening. So here a password, for example, it's definitely user input here. So R15, R14 were the arguments string copy, so either of those could have user input. So work your way from there and till here. And stuff you see immediately after that, you have a J and C. It's jump if not carry. Go read up your assembly. I'm not going to tell you what it does. J and C, based on the results of J and C, you either go to 45FA, which is here, right? Or you're just going to continue down here, EEF to F6, which is fine. But if you look at the instruction at F6, see it's a stop prog exec. That cannot be good, because stop prog exec effectively terminating the program. So based on what you get into the result of the CMP, basically, you're either going to stop the program from executing, basically terminating the program, or you're going to go into another CMP. You see another stop prog exec. So these two CMPs are super important at this point in time for you to continue executing. So make sure that you get the values in your payloads exactly right, so you pass both of those CMP checks, because if you don't, you're just not going to go forward. How do you do that? Again, locator input. You see all of this that we entered here. Locator input, locate where it goes, see which input is copied where into memory, and what exactly those CMPs are doing. Cannot stress that enough for me. It's always old rules. Where does my input go? Who plays with it and how? Those are the golden rules for reverse engineering exploitation. Quick little hint here. What properties does a good password have? A good password in general have. That's a reasonable hint for you to figure out what the CMPs are doing. Now, at this point of time, once you figured all of that out, you see a call to int here, like right inside login, which is kind of new because usually we used to call unlock door and then you used to jump to, you know what unlock door does. But here see a call to int immediately, and you see two pushes here, which basically are the arguments to int. So you remember I told you guys to read the manual, lock manual, so that's kind of open here. What does int 70 do? Why int 70? Because push 70. So that's the first instruction. That's the first argument. Sorry, to the int call. You go in there, and 70 says interface with JSON1 sets flag in memory if the password passed is correct. So if some way you're able to guess the correct password at this point of time, int 70 is basically going to say the password's correct. So R15 is probably your password, int 70, and 70 is the other argument. So if you can pass the correct password into R15, everything's fine at this point of time. So let's kind of continue and see what happens now. Oops, we can exit it. So something happened there which the program didn't like, and it basically just threw us out. So make sure that you start reversing properly, and so that you kind of bypass all of the stop pro exam. Read the manual, look at what 70 does, and just one last hint at this point of time. You have two inputs this time, remember. All of this time, till now, you had just a single input, just the password, right? Now you have two. You have the username and have the password. And buffer overflows effectively means smashing the stack, overriding return. Try and put in a huge input for username, try and put in a huge input for password, for either or both. See if you can smash the stack on this one using anything. I mean, just try and override return with just with large strings and see what happens. You smash it if you can. Great, work your way from there. But probably one way to start. Santacruz is definitely tricky, but in the end, again, you have to find a way to make unlock door swing open. You have to override right with that. Same concepts, but just go carefully, keep your basics straight, and reverse it step by step. Backtrack your input every single time, see where your input's coming from. You'll be able to do it. Good luck.